How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good? Talkative group.
So Dave, you've been involved in the coaching thing for a couple years, but more pro side of it. Just give us your thoughts of now a coach, college coach. How much different is this for you?
Not too different, being that the players that I was around in pro sports are all very young as well. That league is getting younger as well, so I wouldn't say it's too different. They make their money, and our players make their money now, and it's just finding different ways to manage people and build relationships. That's all coaching is: teaching, managing personalities and people, and continuously building relationships with these guys.
Considering what the different obstacles that Josh has had since he started, have you talked to him and said, "Hey, what did you do to the basketball gods? What is happening? All these things are conspiring against you." And what have you told him?
Everywhere has their adversity. I know regardless if you're in New York City or you're in Atlanta or you're in Morgantown, West Virginia, there's adversity everywhere you turn, and how we handle it is, just more or less banding closer together as a staff and as a team. And Josh has seen his fair share of adversity, probably none like this before on his as a head coach, but he's seen his fair share of adversity. And if there's anybody I'm not worried about leading the troops is my guy, Coach Eilert.
Well, I was going to say, you're on the inside, you're around him. How has he handled this, and how has he responded, and how has he stayed so positive through all this?
Well, he's a poised guy. He doesn't really crack when bad things or bad information is coming to him. And honestly, at the end of the day, I would just say he trusts our staff to do what they need to do. And our players have made it a little bit easier for him as well, too. They're going through a tough scenario of dealing with these things and hearing about the information that they see in the news. And like I said, Josh has just been very transparent with our players, open, honest, and makes it easy for our staff to be accountable. And it keeps our players' trust. So everything's been working just fine.
Sean, Coach Eilert has kind of told us a story about how you guys kind of grinded out this offense that you guys are running this year, and you guys kind of put it together. I just if you could just tell me the early stages of that. Is this an offense that you played in, or just something you guys came up with?
I would just say it's stuff. Some of the actions, maybe not the entirety of the offense. Some of the actions are things I've seen played in from time to time. And most of the stuff is what Josh wanted as well. I wanted to figure out what he wanted, what he needed, what was suitable for our players, which guys he wanted to go to, which guys he wanted to highlight in certain points of the offense, and finding these things and these actions to help make our guys successful. And we wanted to change some things as far as spacing and some of the things we felt we lacked prior, and just we ended up landing on what we have right now.
So what was it like, putting together the playbook?
That was fun. No, it was very fun. I sat around a lot of coaches who had playbooks, either they created or given to them by people above them that they had to run, and just being able to have that trust from Josh and also get a chance to work with him side by side and putting these things together and putting in our actions. It was awesome. And not to mention, it's not just me. I did help out a good bit, but just like DeMar is helping out and Alex is helping out and Jordan's helping out, because everybody has experiences and things that, that worked for them. I can sit here and put together stuff for point guards, but I was never a point guard. Jordan would have a good idea of what would work for somebody off the ball or as a point guard, and same for Alex as a very skilled guard, and same for DeMar and the levels that he's played at in his career. So it's not just me working the offense. We have a lot of guys who formerly played and saw a lot of different things, and part of being a coach is being a good learner and being receptive to those things. So.
Curious, say one more here on Josh. What's your message to the fans? He's following a Hall of Fame coach, one of the greatest of all time. He's dealing with all these things. What's your message to the Mountaineer fans out there about Josh and the program?
Let's just continue to be consistent all around. as fans, as our staff, we expect our players to be. Let's just continue to be supportive and consistent. We're not victims. The bad things have happened, but I mean, we're going to move forward, just like bad things have happened in the state, and we're going to move forward. And we treat it just the same. You know, we don't want our players to feel like, woe is me. That's not our message. That'll never be our message. And we'll continue to take it one game at a time, one foot in front of the other, and that's what we'll do.
Da'Sean, back to the offense a little bit, in terms of plucking pieces from where? I mean, is it a lot from what you and Alex did in Europe? Go back to Beeline, Hugs? Where are all the pieces come from for this offense?
I mean, that's tough in general. I mean, I have probably 8 years of professional playing experience. Well, overseas, I got a chance to be near Eric Spoelstra for a year. I got a chance to be near Coach Pop for a year, and then working with Tom Thibodeau and working with Steve Gansey in Atlanta, using the Atlanta Hawks offense. So more or less Nate McMillan. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they run and actions that they ran that John Beeline ran. So a lot of the stuff is just, things I've seen that you recognize. Everybody takes everybody else's stuff, and you just figure out what actions will work. And the same thing with Alex. Alex has a ton of experience of playing overseas and has played for some really great coaches. Got a chance to play against Alex when I played overseas. So, I mean, like I said, played with some very good coaches. And, his knowledge in offense is extreme as well. So we just take a little bit of everything that we feel work. We talk a lot as a staff about what we can do offensively. And no one is, I would say no one is protective over their information or guarded about someone else presenting anything like this. We realize this year is very important to us as a staff and as a team. And the more information we get that can help our team out, the better. So,
as a player, Day, you were able to take over games. Yeah, you were able to take over games, and all of a sudden, you can't do that anymore. You're a coach. I mean, you can take them over on a non-game day, but when they're out there playing, what's the transition been like? How hard is that to accept that, to watch guys either be able to do or not be able to do what you would have done?
Not hard. I can't move anymore. So it's very easy for me to have a seat and just let these guys do what they're doing. But I would just say the most difficult part is figuring out, like I told you before, managing personalities and then being able to have these relationships with these players. It's important because now you got to know how to relay and articulate that message to them. And that was probably the most difficult thing for me at first. And it's something that you continue to work at. You don't meet one kind of person. You continuously meet different personalities every year, every day, whether that be through your players, whether that be through media, whether that be through on campus, whoever. So learning how to, talk to people and learning how to get the best out of the people that you're dealing with every day is, ongoing learning ability that I need to continue to work at. So,
How do you take what you had, the drive or whatever it was, and find a way to get it into someone else? I mean, transfer it from you to them as a coach to player.
Well, like I said, I have to articulate it properly. I have to figure out what motivates that person, and that's through building that relationship. I can't assume that they're like me or I'm like them. I mean, I have to figure out the things that they like, what makes them tick in a sense, and then once I figure out what motivates them, then that's a tool I can use to get them to push to be the best version of themselves.
I got to ask you, recruiting, you were the guy responsible for Neve, right?
Yeah.
Well, they talk about coaches flipping over rocks and finding guys. Go through that story because it looks like you found one there.
Don't jinx him. But no, Ofri is such a great kid, a great guy, man, hard worker. I had a feeling I was going to really like him after I had our very first conversation on Zoom. Not a big talker, yes sir, no sir kind of guy. And he was very intrigued and excited about coming over to America. And his coach, the guy who was getting ready to be his coach, was my coach in Israel. And one of the best coaches I've ever played for, without a doubt. And if he was going to play for him, I was like, well, yeah, he can play. And I hadn't even gotten a chance to see him play at the time. So I got in contact with him, talked to him, and then when I got a chance to watch him play within 2 days, I mean, it was a no-brainer. I mean, he's very savvy basketball IQ. He knows the game. He knows how to play. He reads the floor very well. One of his big things initially was just, tightening up certain skill sets and making them more consistent. But, I mean, that's reps. And if I know anything about our people over in Israel, those guys, they work hard. And I got a chance to see that at firsthand. So I wasn't worried about his work ethic. I heard nothing but great things about him from everybody I talked to. And once I saw him play, it was like I said, it was a no-brainer.
So it was a relationship and a trust?
No, for sure. I mean, the people I talked to were just phenomenal. And those are people I trust. I've been over there for almost 3 years. An opportunity, and it wasn't just the head coach. I got a chance to talk to Oded Katash, who's amazing. I literally searched every person in every relationship I built over in Israel because, I mean, it's a small country. If he's as talented as they say he was, then everybody had an opportunity to see him.
And it's good basketball over there, right?
Very good basketball. Yeah. So and for a younger guy, that's their NBA. So if he had an opportunity to play against some really good competition, I mean, this is why not take that guy and bring him here?
That breakaway dunk, did that surprise you a little bit?
No, he's one of our better athletes. A very, very quick, fast twitch guy. So I was more impressed through the crowd of people that were near him. So because he weighs 170 pounds, so he's a very thin guy. So and I was very impressed by that aspect, but. Nothing really surprises me when it comes to Ofri. I knew once he got here, our staff would really fall in love with him. And once you see him, it's just like, all right, he's kind of thin. And then all of a sudden, as he plays, he plays much bigger than what he is. So, hey, in due time, I mean, I'm sure he can figure something out while he's here.
The playbook stuff. Safe to say you have sole control of the buzzer beater chapter.
Ooh, soul?
Yeah, that's all you.
Soul control? I don't know if I have soul control. My guy Josh is the captain of the ship for sure. I would not hesitate to put in input, but same as most of our staff. Josh gave me the opportunity to help him piece everything together, and then he gives our staff the opportunity to continue to add and critique and figure out what works best for our staff and our players.
To answer why here, I think I understand that, but your career had been a lot of professional stuff, a little bit of college. Were you angling for NBA or pro and not for me? Were you open to anything? Were you trying to get into college? How'd you end up on this route here?
Back here in West Virginia?
Did you pick one or the other? Did you like one more than the other? Were you just
I just like good basketball, honestly, and I like opportunity. And opportunity arose here with this job, and I couldn't turn down a great opportunity. And it was for me to come back home to West Virginia, and work with Josh, who I've known him since I was 19 years old. One of the first people I met here on campus. And he's somebody who I stayed in contact with throughout the years of me being here, not being here, playing overseas, checking in on him and his wife and his kids. Like, me and him have a really great relationship. So when he gave me that call, I mean, it was, like I said, it was a no-brainer. So.
When Alex was in here last week, I was kind of asking him the same thing. You and him, I mean, you guys aren't really that far removed from being recruited yourselves as players. Mm-hmm. Probably may not agree with that, but from that experience of being recruited yourself, the ins and outs, the good and bads of it, what do you take from that when you go out on the recruiting trail and are talking to kids, talking to families, things like that?
I would just say I give them everything I wish I heard and wish I knew prior. And then not to mention just tell them everything about what the state and what the school can do for their children. I mean, everyone has a misconception of the state of West Virginia. So, all I can do is I'm one of the people who are not from the state originally. And I'm a representation of people that are from, like I said, out of state. So they want to know why I stay, why I come back. And to talk about the people, talk about the state, talk about how welcoming the university is when you are here and when you leave. I mean, those are very important factors for people who are sending their kids here. You know, they want to know that they're not just sending their kids here and all hell's going to break loose with their children. So, you know, just reassuring them that, you know, the guys that they have here who've been here for years and continue to come back, that are on their staff, who are from all over the place. I mean, just reassuring them that their children will be in good hands, and they know what we're going to do for their child basketball-wise, but just are we going to take care of them and be there day-to-day for them? You know, I try to make sure I reassure them on that front, because those are things I didn't think twice about when I came here for my visit. So the court looks nice. The coach is really cool. I mean, but I didn't, I'm 18, like 17, 18 years old. How would I know what questions to ask about my university? I wasn't very as intentional as I should have been. And I'm glad I wasn't, because it led me here. So maybe I can be a little bit more helpful in giving them the brighter spots of our university and our state and our staff when they come. So
You said you knew Josh since you were 19, and he's been here a long time, and he's a quiet guy. What do the fans, what's his best attribute? What do the fans don't know about him that makes him what he is?
He, like I said earlier, he's poised and under control at all times. There's not many times I see Josh just like lose his mind and forget what the mission is. Yeah. And we've had a lot of things going on recently, and he just does a great job of, as a leader, just staying calm, cool, and collective, and always being the smartest guy in the room, always thinking of what routes we can and what we can't take. And I would just say he's just been a great leader.
You see that from the players? Did the players respond to that?
They more than definitely respond to him. So with that aspect, I would just say, like, the guys, this is the reason why a bunch of the guys came to his defense and came to his back about being the head coach. You know, he's somebody that they trust. He's somebody that they know cares about them before the rest of our staff was even appointed. You know,
he's different, right? He's a different type of guy, not a yeller or that type of thing.
I mean, he can yell. I wouldn't say that's like, you know, the number one thing he does. He's more going to teach versus go to barking. But I mean, he can flip that switch as well. I mean, I showed the scrimmage game. He yelled a little bit. So.
When did you decide you wanted to truly follow the coaching path? I mean, was it always in the back of your mind? When did it become a realistic goal for you?
I mean, it was always in the back of my mind. I mean, as a high school player, I would go to coaching clinics with my dad, who was a coach at the time, and go watch, you know, Jay Wright talk, and not Bob Knight, but Bob Hurley talk, and you know, see these guys, meet these coaches, and just see what they're teaching and what I should be doing. And go to college. I mean, you fast forward and I go to college. I mean, obviously I'm focused about being a player. And when I got hurt, I mean, coaching is definitely in the back of my head, but I really just missed playing. And I came back here as a GA, and I got a chance to see what coaches do, professional coaches do, day to day. And I was hooked by that. I was like, oh, this is what I really want to do. But at that time, not more than playing. And I felt like it would have been a disservice if I was stuck around here or stuck around coaching in general and, you know, wasn't 100% committed and constantly thinking about playing basketball or thinking about it from a player's mentality versus, you know, it's good to have a player's mentality because I played, but at the same time, you can't approach everything like a player would. You have to, there's a certain way and a nuance to what you need to do as a coach. So.
Josh he was talking about the offense and how when he was the video coordinator, he just spotted stuff he liked. You were video coordinator. Like, what people just think, like, you have to be a coach on the bench or a GA to have experience, but, like, it's all relative in some sense.
No, for sure.
What did you get out of that that's helpful or useful for this?
Oh, man, it was an awesome experience. Just to be around some of the best coaches in the world and learn the reasons why they do what they do and then how they teach. It's rarely much yelling. So, like, just teaching is the most important thing. And I would say at the next level, the best part about that is the players only respect what you know, not what you did as a player. So I had to really know what I was talking about if I were to speak, which rarely happened. It's nothing for me to say. You have the greatest coaches around. I didn't say a word unless someone addressed me. So I would just say like it was a great experience, man. I got a chance to watch a lot of basketball, learn from a lot of coaches, and learn a lot of systems, and see what I like you just said about what Josh said, see the things that I found interesting, and see why certain things worked in certain situations and why certain things didn't, And that's all coaching really comes down to a lot of times when you're not in charge. You say, you want to see what works and you want to see what you will do and what you won't do.
Are you watching like practice clips and seeing how like they're communicating through mistakes, or
Yeah,
or like
for
why
sure.
they want to see a certain set or anything like that? Like as part of they want this but why, or they say this but why?
Yeah, I mean, we get that because, and are you talking about here or are you talking about, when as a coordinator, I mean, your coach is teaching everybody. He's not just teaching the players. So he's teaching the assistant coaches, he's teaching the video coordinators, he's teaching everybody. And everybody at a certain point in time, when it's time to go through video, go through sets with players, go through anything, everybody should be reiterating his message.
Now, you're working with the bigs now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, a Cook is out. Depth wasn't great to begin with. Quinn's kind of moving in. So, like, you get out there on Monday. Could early foul trouble? I mean, could this making your job working with the bigs a lot harder now, right? I mean,
anything can happen. I mean, honestly, I can't. At the end of the day, I really can't tell you what could. I mean, literally, like you said, somebody can get in foul trouble. We have to go to another person. That's basketball, and that's just like the way things work. I mean, next man up, and next guy has to be ready to play. I mean, like I said, we're not going to sit here and play the victim. What we have here is a ton of opportunity for guys to come out there and take advantage of that opportunity, and that's what we have. I mean,
different scenarios that have run through your mind to prepare for.
so many.
Yeah.
So many. Yeah. So I mean, there's tons, and we talk about that stuff as a staff, but nothing. How can I put this? Nothing that it could be very alarming at times, but for the most part, nothing that makes us change anything we need to really do. I mean, we know what guys we could potentially go with and what guys we aren't and what we're going to do and how we move forward if foul trouble or something else happens.
You sound like you become superstitious last hour.
No, how so? Am I knocking on the... No, yeah, I just don't, there's no need to talk about the game until the game starts. Anything else is like, I mean, it's a distraction. So don't want to distract my guys while I'm up here talking to you.
Yeah, I've never asked you this, but have you ever sat back and thought about that magical week at the Big East tournament and the why me, how that happened, how fortunate it was that those situations came up? I mean, you can't make it situations for last second shots until they come. I mean, have you ever thought about fate and that kind of stuff?
I mean, then, and I mean, all I can do. Like at that time, I mean, that was just something I never dealt with before in life. That was the first of many that year, and from beginning to end. And as a young man, I mean, that was very difficult for me. But I'm just the kind of person that likes to just find any positive thing I could possibly find and latch onto it, and then just try to use that to continue to prop myself up. Yeah, those times were tough, but they made me into who I am today. And if I continue to play, who knows if I'd be coaching? I mean, I'd be playing potentially somewhere.
I'm thinking more of the making 3 last shots.
Oh, I mean, that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was fun. I had a blast. I had a good time.
I mean, the ball could have not wound up in your hands.
No, I know, but I mean, most of those games were tied. So I mean, we were going to OT. So it was really nothing to really worry about in my eyes. I mean, it's just, I mean, exactly. So I mean, happy I made them though.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool story. But
I mean, the difference between a make and a miss is,
no, it is true.
not that much.
Yeah, for sure, it really isn't. But at the same time, I mean, I was just happy and lucky that my teammates and the staff had faith in me and allowed me to go out there and take those opportunities.
Da'Sean, one more on the offense. Who got the name of the plays?
Josh got the name of the place. I didn't get that kind of freedom.
You probably had some good names.
No, for sure. I mean, I threw. I'm not gonna sit there and say I didn't throw a name in it too, but no. Josh definitely is Everything's funneling up. You
Right.
can't do that. I'm just the assistant. So
Coach, thank you.
appreciate you guys.